In current social psychological perspective, the formation of perceptual preference in auditory stimulus could differ by gender, as the accumulation of self-concept and reciprocal determinism in gender role, gender identity, and gender schema, which adjust their behavior and thoughts in a traditional expectation and environment that they belong to. To identify such a standard whether different type of auditory frequencies can affect each type of gender differently in their emotional reaction, we conducted a survey, 25 women and men, to take 20 different sounds such as car crashing, Pokemon, background music, baby crying, baby laughing, crunching, drinking, basketball, bouncing, and computer typing, and etc. My null hypothesis was that each gender could be equally likely respond to different types of sounds with p-value 1 upper tail 5%, assuming that independent randomization, 10% condition, and success and failure conditions were met by default. I categorized 3 sections by operation, domestic, and athletic. Each strata showed very interesting results. The operational sounds, such as like paper printing and keyboard typing, were favored by proportion of male samples than female by 26% difference by 26% difference with 95 confidence interval plus minus 4%, meaning that 22 to 30%, while the domestic were dominated by female population by 68%, with a 95% confidence interval, 3.5% with a p-value less than 3%, which rejected the null hypothesis. The athletic, on the contrary to our expectation, were relatively equally distributed by less than 8% difference. Based on the data samples with the normal mode above, we successfully rejected the null hypothesis for operational and domestic sounds, but not for the athletic sounds. We assumed that the current MLK student samples are well informed that the athletic interests are not based on the gender difference, and it does not have a societal perception on the gender schemas as well. However, the traditionally operational without discontinuous sounds or discrete sounds may be related to the man's growing resistance to the disturbance by a sudden rise of frequencies. According to Erickson's stage of psychological development, the adolescent's issues in identity versus role confusion was reminded in the survey takers as to determine their gender identity and orientation to secure themselves and create a safe net. The other possibility is that the transduction of auditory electrical energy was rather sensory morally adapted to the physicals of men who are much more exposed to the higher frequencies and higher frequent decibels of sounds through video game. The most drastic difference was shown in the baby crying. The women were more inclined to pity or to secure the protective sense instantly after hearing the babies crying, while men were rather irritated or as if it were a siren. Therefore, the experiment above clearly showed how men and women differently reacted to the different frequencies of the sounds. Thank you very much. Good.